Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's card is a card that I've had the idea for a while and I really wasn't sure how to get it out. So I just started making it. It took me several days to actually get this to come together. But I've got the two different apple sizes and several pale R markers and a Y marker. I'm going to turn these apples into peaches, which I know they're not exactly the right shape, but neither is a circle. So I use the apple. And I know the coloring part looks super strange. I'm doing a lot of dots. Basically, this is me trying to figure it out as I go. Peaches have such a interesting kind of color to them because, you know, some parts are paler, some parts are darker. They're fuzzy and you can't really get that to convey the best with markers, or at least I can't. I'm not that skilled. So this is me just layering things, putting little dots here and there. I made sure to have the little shadowy line down the center for where, you know, peaches kind of have that dip into them. And for the smaller of the two apples, I'm just going to cut this not quite in half because I don't really want that little, I don't know what it is, the little cut line where you're supposed to put the stem. And then I'm going to cut a tiny little half circle out of each of the apple halves to make peach halves, or I guess peach slices. So for my peach slices, I'm going to use some of the same colors, but I am bringing this very pale quadruple zero, I think, just to give the peach, like main part of the peach, some color. I didn't want it to be white, but I also didn't really want it to be very dark either. And then I'm just going to take some of the markers that I used for the outside of the peach, and I'm just going to color on the outside of the stitching lines. That'll look kind of like the skin. And for the center, where the pit would have been removed, there is some color there too. So I actually used a couple of the different colors. So some of my peach centers are a little bit darker than the others. But yeah, basically you're just trying to get that slightly darker center. So for the peach leaves, I have all these different Y colors. YG, not Ys. Sorry guys, I have a bad headache and I can't think very much past it. So here I wanted to add a little bit of detail. Leaves aren't my favorite thing to color. I know that's probably shocking to someone. If it's your thing, great. I do it because it's part of the image, not because I really love to do it. But I tried to have some of the veining show, but I didn't want it to be so punchy and in your face. Next up is the stems. I kept this real basic. Here I'm using YR9 and this is an Ohuhu marker. And I just colored it just one base color with that. I didn't add any shading or anything. I didn't figure it was super necessary. So now I have the stitched mug frame as well as the outside in stitched mug. And I'm going to cut the handles off of these and I'm going to use one as the back portion and one as the like outline of the cup. So here I have Peach Fuzz, and I'm going to ink blend the top of this cup. And then I have Peachy Keen, which I will blend at the bottom, and I'll kind of overlap them in the middle to give a gradient. I know I usually use Distress Oxides, and I love those, but I've really enjoyed ink blending with the Lawn Fawn inks. I'm not really sure why it's taken me so long to really work on that, but I've had fun. Next up, I'm using Kiddie Pool for the outside of the cup. This is just to, you know, give it some color. I didn't want it white, but I also kind of imagined it would be sort of glass-like. I don't know that it really reads that way, but it's fine. So here is my outside and inside of my cup. And I have this quilted backdrop die, as well as the reverse stitched scalloped circle windows. And Kiddie Pool ink again. I have blended the Kiddie Pool ink on this panel and I have cut out that circle window from the center. So this is what it looks like. I did that off camera. I'm also using the lovely Latte die set and I just used it for the little whipped cream. I thought it would be cute to have a few of these. I attempted to use the outline to position the little center bits. It didn't work the best. It did on the other two. Of course, the ones I did off camera looked fine. They worked fine. And here I have one E color and then the colorless blender to kind of blend that out. I wanted it to mostly look white. For my sentiment, I'm using Smitty's ABCs and Henry Jr.'s ABC, sorry. And I have the heart garland backdrop. I used a little banner in that, and I made my sentiment on that with the Peach Fuzz and Peachy Keen ink. And to add the little dashes, I used my Cricut Cactus Pink pen because it was pretty close to the Peachy Keen ink. I can't even think, you guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, the little happy hibiscus flowers, I'm going to add some of those later. Here, I'm just trying to figure out where I want everything placed at the top of my drink. I don't know what kind of drink this would be because it looks very liquid. Well, maybe not quite yet, but it will. I'm adding the little peaches and the slices kind of around the cup. And once I'm relatively happy with the way everything's placed, I'm going to glue that cup down. And here, you'll see I'm going to add the little peaches inside of the cup. And then I also have what I think is supposed to be the sugar cubes from that stitched teacup die set. But I'm going to use them as ice cubes because why not? This is why I said the drink doesn't look exactly like it should have whipped cream on the top, but it does. All right, so I have my little happy hibiscus. I think they're supposed to be like the centers of the flowers, but I figured I would just use them as straight flowers. I'm just adding a little bit of color to the insides, leaving the outside of the petals white. I'm going to attach those, and then I have die cut some small circles, and I have stamped an I and a U for the center of two of the flowers. And this is just going to finish my sentiment. I couldn't figure out what I wanted on my card to make it really flow very well if I didn't stamp them very tiny. And now here, this is really difficult to see. I tried to capture it on camera, but it is the Peachy Keen, I think is what it is, Nouveau Drops. It's the vintage Nouveau Drops. And I'm just going to add some centers to the rest of my flowers. After that, my card is complete. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!